Good evening, everyone. How is everybody doing today? Let me clear my terminal so you can see what. Hope you're having a good week, and it's almost Friday, so almost a week. That means more coding, more open source coding at the week. So, what do you think of my new setup? So I had a little surprise for you all. I've taken on board people's tips and suggestions. I did research, and I'm actually using the camera, the screen that I'm looking at. Helps a bit more, and I've got a face light, nice blue light behind me. But with this camera, unfortunately, you can see on my over side. But we'll see how it goes. Keep sending me your feedback, and I'll keep working on it and improving on it. I think me talking into the microphone, hopefully that sounds a lot clearer. I have turned the gain down a little bit. Hopefully, we get clipping at the top when I get too excited about code and screaming and shouting. My week has been quite busy. I didn't stream the last 2 days. Well, I'll tell a lie. I didn't stream in my command center, or as rightfully mentioned, modern day. So the name for my command center, we came up with the Bat Cave. I've heard someone call it. Wife refers to it as money sink. Modern day. Came up with this. I want to get this wrong, so apologies. You might want to write it in the chat. All one word, by the way. All one word. It's in the Discord channel, so you're going to see it in. Should I spend this? Not really, but screw it. I will. Look awesome in here. Center. I thought that was really, really good. And he goes on to say, not really me. Well, now that's done. We've only got a few minutes left of the stream. So long. I thought it was really, really brilliant. I was actually on a work call at the moment with a client, and yes, I was giggling a lot. That's why I was like, stop disturbing me. It was good to have that feedback. But yeah, a bit long, a bit like what SHIELD stands for. If anyone's an Iron Man, Marvel fan, I probably got some of it wrong, but I remember in Iron Man 1, Homeland, Strategic, blah, blah, or Strategic Homeland, etc., and they shortened it to. Maybe we could get those letters. SNDNRBSIWAIC. I think that's still too long. So yeah, we might have to stick with Command Center or Bat Cave. And so yes, I was out of the Bat Cave yesterday. I went to this great event. You can see it on my screen. Building diverse and inclusive tech startups. And it was really interesting. I mean, I thought I was better than average in this area, but actually I learned so much. Mine was good. Follow me on Twitter. You see, I actually wrote that. It was so many different things to consider. Don't unless someone points it out. So there is a stream for that, and I can share the link if I'm not useful. But actually, I will share it anyway. Watch. What are we going to do today? So my goal, I think, is to do a bit of a chunky feature over the next 2-3 days on Dashboard Hub, because I've got Saturday. I'm pretty free, so I was thinking, you know what, I could pick up a chunky feature today, maybe start it, plan it, continue it tomorrow, unless Andrew Venzra wants to do a bit of game development. I hope he doesn't distract me too much with that, because that was really exciting last week. And then on Saturday, yeah, definitely going to focus on Dashboard Hub. Piece out. So it will be Node at the back end with the serverless framework on AWS Lambda, and then the Angular 5 on the front end. So let me show you kind of what I've got in mind. Walked in the wrong direction. Yeah, it's kind of like on my my third screen. So this is kind of the screen I'm kind of focusing at, and here's like the main screen, main iMac screen, right screen, the middle one, and then yeah, the left one. Should probably just drag it over, I guess. General chats, even if you saw it on screen. I need to work out with my overlays. I'll get another scene where I can just have me in the middle and bigger. I've actually hired someone on Fiverr to try and do me some look. I would hope. So yes, my overlays, I've slightly tweaked it, but it has just been me and not a designer, far from it. We will make some when I talk away, I don't know if yeah, it's in the general chat. You'll see it. One sec, you'll follow it. Okay, so the audio drops a little when I talk away. Okay, well make sure I'm talking in this direction. Or also sound sometimes toggles on and off. Ah, I did tweak my audio settings, and that's probably why. Let me. Thought it was a good idea. It really wasn't. Let me just remove it. Gone. Okay. So that should not happen again. Audio still dropping even when talking forward. Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, noise gate was probably a bit too high, so I've actually I've turned off remove noise gate. So hopefully that's not going to cause a problem. How does it sound now? I should have probably tested this beforehand, so apologies. But thank you very much for your feedback. I really appreciate it. I only learnt about noise gate, I think it was like yesterday or the day before yesterday. I thought, oh, that sounded interesting. Although my room's pretty silent, to be honest. Maybe just when I'm kind of, you know, typing away, you might not want to hear that, but yeah, it's not the end of the world. I've removed the noise gate, so hopefully it's much better. Awesome. Thank you very much. So Mauritius and this modern day, thank you very much for that feedback. I'm confirming that now is much better. So Dashboard Hub. So what I was doing, I was tweaking some of the stories. And I was speaking to Venzra this morning, and he was saying, as he was using Dashboard Hub, what he was saying was, I would love to have it so that he could group his projects together and maybe order them. And I was like, that's actually a really good idea. So that might be my next story. Yeah, sounds good, but the Yeti is sensitive, so you do have to have a fairly quiet room. Yeah, it is quite sensitive, the Yeti. I've turned down the gain on it quite a bit, so it doesn't have that. I have got it on a, I don't know if you can see, if I bring it a bit more into camera, I hope I don't break anything. No, I might break something. But it's on the spring, so if I knock it, it doesn't make a big dunk down the microphone and so on. Yeah, I'm thinking of getting an audio mixer. Someone on YouTube recommended one that's like, I don't know, 70, 80 pounds. It looked quite interesting how it does the condenser part. I think it makes anything that's really high a bit quieter, anything that's really low a bit louder, and that looked quite interesting. But it's a bit of a, I just forked out on the front light and a nice back blue light, and I thought that was more important. So next month. Hey Dev Journey, thanks for joining. How's your week been? And while we're waiting for those messages to come through, because I know it's a bit of a delay, I'm just showing you, yes, what I was thinking. So I was thinking to do, be really good to do maybe CRUD, a kind of a project, and that would just allow us to group the environments together. So if I bring up, earlier in the week we did this help. So you can see the question mark is now, it was originally like this, where it said coming soon, so not dark, and now it's like blocked, and we actually put some examples in there. So let's do something a bit juicier. So with the with the environments, what we have is just all of them, and even when you're logged in, so if I log in, you go to my environments, it does have all of them, but sometimes you want to group them together, and this project has these 2 environments, and this project has these 3 environments. So what Vendor was suggesting, that you can select this test 1, 2, 3. I am in a test environment at the moment. You might not want it. You might want a view. So I'm thinking of doing something to that effect. That's my idea. I think it will show everyone a full kind of CRUD from the front end all the way down to the back end. So it'd be a good example. We're not going to get it finished today. Maybe we can plan it and start. And I think we should be able to finish this on Saturday. With all the automated testing and everything built in, so full end-to-end example. And the way I envisage it is under my environments, I was thinking to you have my projects, and you click on it and list the projects, and then you click on that and it lists the environment. So these 3 that you see, if they were under a project, that's what you would see. It's kind of like a filtered version. Something's changed with the setup. Is this what you were talking? You were on about Discord? Yes. So yeah, I did change it. I found out the changes I made to the audio weren't so great, but we have now fixed them. So thanks to this modern day and Mauritius, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, Mauritius is a help. So audio is sorted. Hopefully the lighting's a bit better and it's a bit more, I guess, colourful, as it were, with the colours. But today's my first time using that, so it could be a bit, I'm sure it needs some improvement, and I'll slowly work on it. I don't have the big camera behind me at the moment to show you all my setup, but I will probably on tomorrow or Saturday. I'm just waiting for another tripod to arrive. I've got the light in front of me on my current tripod. I've got another one arriving, so I can have the camera pointing at the whole command center, and there will be extra bits and pieces. So yeah, hopefully you like the new setup and the new colors. So let's go. So I think we're going to do this one. No idea. And this is all the information from before. So this might be out of date. List projects, view the projects, list the environment in a project. Viewing the project, list the environment in a project. Okay. So these might be out of date, but you create a project model. I think it looks pretty good. I need a new table in DynamoDB, and therefore I'll configure that in serverless. So it looks pretty good. And on the front end, create a project form, name, description, select the environments maybe, or autocomplete. Is private, okay. Yeah, we might have to do that, but the environment have a private status, so that might cause some issues. I might need to have a think on that and see. List all public projects, list my projects and view. So we might need to tweak that. We'll work on that. I think all of us probably just want to get into the code and get started. So let me assign this to myself. And what I should do is get the app running. So I'm actually going to run the app because of my keys for auth 0. I'm just going to run it in a different window. So give me 2 seconds. I am talking away from the mic, but hopefully it still can be heard. So if I go back to the main branch, which is v0.9, I am doing this in a different screen. So I should have really set this up beforehand. I wasn't definitely sure I was going to do this, but after talking through it with you all, I think it's a good idea. So what's everyone doing this weekend? I hope lots of coding. Probably hear me whacking and bashing the Apple keys away. Okay, so we have a branch, and let me just create our new branch. So I can do this in here so you all can see this. So so now we're in v0.9. It's up to date because we did a pull request the other day, but we want to create a new branch to work in. So it's git checkout -b issue 393. I can't do 393. So we're in that one now. Okay, and I will just boot up the API on my other screen. Here we go. So just booting that up. And move all the way over here. Don't need it at the moment. And then on this screen, we're going to boot the UI as well. Just get the UI going. And that you can see there's no keys on it. Probably going to be working on the hackathon. I have a week off work next week, so can solidly work on it. Nice, sounds good. So what's your plan for the project? I saw you put Express in there with TypeScript. So you're planning to have a database behind it, so people can log in with, say, GitHub and just like add events and so on. Or are you, because you need to host that somewhere as well, how are you thinking where and when to host it? Because another way to keep your costs down, I suppose, you could just do a front-end app like Angular and just have a JSON file that people modify. And then that way you can just host it on GitHub pages and it doesn't actually cost you anything. I suppose searching might be a bit of a pain if the numbers get a bit big, whereas you would want a database or Elasticsearch or something. So that's up and running. So now that is up and running, let's check. It will be on 4,200. Relaxing Saturday, doing a little coding, then going to try and live stream for a few hours on Sunday. Nice. What time are you live streaming on Sunday? I'm planning on live streaming after lunch for about an hour. A friend of mine who's also started a startup, we wanted to get together and just give each other updates on our startups. And I thought, well, why not live stream it? So we're going to live stream that, I think about 1 o'clock on Sunday. But hopefully you're not between 1 and 2, and I can come and watch your stream. Yeah, it's mainly just like a learning journey for myself. Okay, I'm probably going to just use a server setup that I'm going to do myself on Ubuntu and MongoDB, which should be fun. Express as the back end. Yeah, no, it sounds good. No, I think it sounds like a good idea. Definitely do it, and if it's a learning experience, definitely do it again. Absolutely. 2 to 6 p.m. EST. I'll have to Google that. I don't know what that is. 2 p.m. EST to UK. 7 o'clock in the evening. It's like past my bedtime. No, I'm just joking. So you're doing what, 4 hours? That's a long streaming session. But I'll be around for a couple of hours in it. So I won't be there for the whole 4 hours. But dinner time's around 7. But I'll come and join and see what you're working on. I don't watch people code, but if you're game. But if you're coding, I'm definitely gonna join and watch. I follow you anyway, so I'll get a notification. Okay, so the app is up and running. This is local, and this has got some test data. Actually, one thing I noticed last time is none of the test data belongs to the user that I'm logging in with. Oh, I'm not even logged in. That's a bit stupid. But I have a feeling none of the test data is belonging to me, so that's not a problem. We can always make some data. It's fine. So the idea is, yeah, they're all view rather than details, so none of them belong to me. So let's just add an environment. Doesn't really matter what it is. I can spell my test n1. Okay, don't need to put anything else in. Let's add another one, and we'll make it a different style. Just say deployment, and we'll say test n2. I'm actually going to do a third as well, but I'm not going to include it in the project we want to create. So test n3. So the idea is when we create this kind of project, I want to include in 1 and 3 and omit 2 to make sure it doesn't come through. Okay, so where should we start? Start at the API, I think, probably a good place. I should have my IDE open, and it's somewhere, it says. On one of my many screens. Here we go, I found it. Let me make it a lot smaller, because I've reduced my resolution. Let me make it smaller to come over here. Okay. That's work we did last time. Okay. My work schedule kind of prevents me from streaming during the week, and I'm working out something with the schedules are kind of the same, so I spend time together during the day, work on house chores, etc. Sunday's the only day that she works and I don't. Fair enough, makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. I think it's good to have that balance. I want to do more streaming, but I need to keep the balance with the wife as well. So Saturday she's out, like doing some bits, errands and running around and so on. So I thought, right, take advantage of it. I'm gonna try and probably stream maybe 10 till 12 UK time, and maybe like 2 till 4 or something in the afternoon, and that's probably it. But we'll see how we get on. See how this goes. I need to remind myself. I feel so out of practice with DashboardHub. I need to definitely get more. Need to keep Sarah happy. Exactly. You know what she's like when she's not happy, right? You saw her when she kind of stuck her head around the corner and I didn't believe that I was streaming. That was her, like in her kind of in a good mood. Imagine her in a bad mood. I'm really scared. My wife's quite quiet and polite and petite. And one day we both worked from home. This is before I had my command center, and we were both in the dining room working. And she got a call from work, and I was so scared of her afterwards. Like, she was so, I don't know what the word is, but just so strict. And I just thought, okay, I'm a bit scared. She's obviously really nice to me usually, and I don't really want to get that kind of scary side out. She might hear me. She's not home yet. She'll be home in about 30 minutes, so I'm okay. I'm good. This is why I try and stream like 5:30 to 6:30, because I try and finish my work for the day. And then I get an hour kind of streaming in before she comes home, where we'll kind of start cooking dinner together and have dinner. Trying to get that balance again. We have a deployment for work tomorrow, or it's supposed to be today, but now tomorrow, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit of work in the evening. keep work happy as well. You know, they pay the bills. So in terms of models, oh, Dev Journey said, sorry Dev Journey, I missed your message. Also said, I want to start streaming soon, I think, maybe one day. Yeah, I think it's really good. I'm really interested. I enjoy watching other coders who stream, and I think it's always good. I can see kind of, you know, learn from them how they're doing it, and I think it's good for all of us to host each other as well, to just get that community. I do want to start the community Twitch coders, definitely. And this is actually one surprise I haven't told Andrew this. I told him it's a surprise coming, I think it's next week. I actually got some Discord stickers with the link to Twitch Coders Discord channel, and it says it's got the name on it. So I'm really excited about that. I ordered some samples, so it's just 10 arriving next week. So excited. But if that looks cool, then I'll probably order a whole load more, and I can post them to anyone who wants them. Or if I see you at events, even better. But if I don't see you at events, then yeah, I can post them to you, because I appreciate we're all around the world. So cool. I'm glad you think it's awesome. I thought it was really exciting. I was so excited. I wanted to tell everyone. I wanted to tell Andrew this morning, but I thought, you know what? I'll try and keep it a surprise. But I couldn't keep it a surprise. I was gonna like kind of hold it up and say, look what I've got. But yeah, I kind of had to share it. I'm terrible at keeping kind of secrets. So bad, get too excited, especially if they're good things and I want to share them. Like when I buy my wife a birthday present, a Christmas present, like, and I say it's a month before, and I used to go, I got you a Christmas present. She'll be like, okay, thank you very much, and just walk away, because she doesn't want to know. She loves surprises. And I'll be like, can I tell you? She'll be like, no. But can I give you a clue? And that's how it starts, right? You give her a clue to give another a clue, and you just kind of just shout it out and just say it. So yeah, I will. Actually, I could probably log in and show you what it's going to look like, if that's of any interest. We're kind of getting distracted from coding, but Stickermule, I think it was. But we'll do more coding tomorrow in the weekend, I suppose. Orders, here we go. I have two, so I don't know which one it is. Here you go, so I got a Twitch one. I don't know if you can see this. Got a Twitch one for myself, so that's just for my Twitch account. And I've got the Discord one. Again, they look a bit small. Probably zoom in here, so it kind of look like that. I'm exactly the same, cannot save a surprise at all. My girlfriend hates it. Yeah, but I think it's because, you know, us being guys, we're quite excited that we've done something good, right? Usually I'm a bit naughty, I'm a bit bad, or the worst thing is it's like my wife's birthday and I'll say, really sorry, I didn't get you anything. Just go out and buy something for yourself. And she'll come out and go, look what you bought me. You bought me a dress and a pair of shoes and a handbag. I'm like, damn it, I should have bought something myself. But yeah, that's. I think we're kind of all a bit like that. If I ever find myself fortunate to have enough time to travel across the pond and come meet you at an event, definitely. I go to loads of events in Europe. I was meant to actually go to an event last year or this year to the US, but I cancelled it after certain political people came into power. So yeah, I kind of boycotted that. I'm doing more in Europe at the moment, but no politics conversations, because I know nothing about politics. But yeah, hopefully, if you come over this way, we have lots of events in Europe as well, and so we're cool over here as well, not just the States. You might have Silicon Valley. We have Silicon Roundabout in London. It's a roundabout. That's pretty cool. It's round. But yeah, that's the logo I was talking about. Twitch Coders. I hope I spelled everything right on there. I know the link's right because I copied and pasted it, but Twitch Coders. Yeah, I think that's spelled right. Okay. But I will post them all to you. If you do like them, I will definitely want to stick them on your laptop when you go to events that are more local to you. Then yeah, I will post them to you. I'll buy a bulk. I've only got 10 arriving samples because I wasn't quite sure of the size. I wanted them big enough to read, but not too big that you can't you don't want to put it on your laptop because it's taking up such a massive amount of real estate. So yeah. Can I ask, why do you use Safari over Chrome or Firefox? Is that Safari? Yes, I use Safari for surfing the net, so GitHub and so on. But for development, I use Chrome. I think that's a really good question, actually. I love Safari in terms of it keeps all my devices synced together. So my iPhone, my iPad, it keeps my history, my bookmarks, what I'm currently viewing, so I can start reading on one and move across to another device. But for development, I'm always in Chrome. I much prefer it. One thing I love about the city I live in is we have four-way stop? Very few four-way stops. We see quite crossroads. Is that what you mean by four-way stops? I'm guessing so. Embraced roundabouts, or as people like to call it, traffic circles. Traffic circles is brilliant. Yeah, roundabouts can be okay, but I think a lot of people like to, rather than when you approach a roundabout and there's no one on it, they don't kind of approach it really slowly, but moving and look, no one's coming and continue going. They'll get to the roundabout and stop, and then look, and they go, oh, no one's there. Let me start again, go. But the kind of the knock-on effect for all the cars behind is really annoying. So we usually say it's this is probably really bad, but we usually say it's mums in Chelsea tractors. So it's like you know, I don't know, in Chelsea in London, and they're driving these big 4x4s. To take their one kid to school with their, like, I don't know, football boots or something, but they've got this massive car. So yeah, quite funny. But yeah, so the roundabouts are good and they're kind of bad. I think they're good to keep traffic flowing if people use them correctly, whereas at traffic lights you just usually stop where there's no one coming from the other direction. It's just like, well, there's nobody there, I could have gone. One thing I also want to show you, I don't know if you noticed my my GitHub hoodie. I got kind of GitHub hashtag, OpenSource hashtag, and even better, yesterday this actually worked. Like 4 people came to do this. You'll see it. Look, can you read that? Hug a developer. So it's got my GitHub name on it and my GitHub URL and hug a developer. And actually, like, quite a few people gave me a hug yesterday at the event, which is really cool. Usually most people point and laugh. It's fine. Start a conversation that way. You're the American guilty watching too much British television. I'm the absolute opposite. I guess I'm a British person who watches too much American stuff. I don't know, I know it's like a lot of the time it's America saves the day, but the American TV programs and movies are so good because you just get engrossed in them and it's just escapism, so you kind of just leave the real world behind. And I like Armageddon, right? I just love that movie. I know it's America Save the Day, but I've really enjoyed that escapism and just being kind of, you know, submerged. So yeah, I'm not too much of a British fan on TV. Yeah, this is like a marketing. This hoodie. I have T-shirts the same and all the rest. Hug a developer. Just people go, does that work? And they start a conversation, and I'm like, no, it doesn't work. But you're chatting to me, so it's kind of working. So it's quite funny. Yeah, it's definitely worth doing. It's good to meet lots of people and so on. Right, okay. So we've got these are our models. So these are effectively our tables. We've got pinged. So I want to rename these when I move over to Aurora serverless rather than DynamoDB. But for the moment, I'm just leaving them how they are. So environment is the for environments table. And you've got deployed, which is kind of, I've used releases sometimes, I've used deploys sometimes, I've used deployed, because I really hate that, but that's the actual deployment of that environment going out. And then I've got pinged. I should have called it pings. I don't know why I did it past tense, but it's so it's not the setup, or it's not the monitor itself, but it's the result of the actual ping. I think that's why I called it ping. Yeah. And what we're going to need another one is, I haven't done this in ages, so I have to remind myself, but of what needs to go in there. But we'll probably have, what were we doing again? I've even forgotten. Projects. Right, projects.js. Yeah, my serverless API is in JavaScript and the Angular is in TypeScript. I probably one day move serverless over to TypeScript, but there wasn't much docs on it, there wasn't many examples. I didn't want to get bogged down and just figuring stuff out, because using new technology with serverless and DynamoDB already kind of had me learning lots of new stuff. So, what else do we have? Okay, we've got projects. Let's have a look at environment, because it'd be kind of something similar to this. I hate the spacing on this as well. I need to go through and just sort out the spacing. But I want to do that in one commit, so therefore I know that commit, there's no actual code changes, it's more like spacing changes. But I don't know, it's not good. I prefer 2 rather than 4. Well, I kind of swing in roundabouts, but as long as it's consistent, it's the most important. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy most of this, because that's probably most of it's the same. And we will need an ID for the project. We'll probably need an owner as well. Yeah, because I haven't got an accounts table thinking about it, so I can't tie the project or the environment to an account, and then because eventually I'm going to need sub users. So if I create an environment or create a project, and I want one of you to have access to that so you can see the data, then I'm going to need to add you to it. And would I add you in terms of, I guess, the architecture in terms of the database or the data? It might not be, might be SQL or NoSQL. Would I add you to the environment, or would I add you to my account? I guess I'd add you to the environment because I might not want you to have access to the entire account. Okay, it's good that we discussed this. There is some chat. Let me have a look at the chat. I finally found the file structure I sort of like, but I would like some input. Do you mind going to Hackathon repo after the stream? Give me some feedback. Let everyone. Thanks. I can't even read. It's been a long day. That's to everyone in the chat. Yes, remind me when we get towards the end. Remind me. We'll bring it up and we'll have a chat about it. Absolutely. It's all about collaboration, right? What did the sticker say? Twitch coders. So yeah, more than happy to do that. And let's get a few bits done on this, and then maybe in like 20 minutes we'll spend the end of the stream looking at your open source project. And it's all about open source as well. Open source Twitch coders. That's too long. So yeah, just talking through that, I realized that we wouldn't put it in the accounts table. Not that I have an accounts table at the moment, but we wouldn't put it in there because I wouldn't want that person to have access to everything. Although you could list this person has access to this. But if we do it on the right model, that probably makes more sense. So when someone requests an environment, we can just check if they got access to it. Okay, so I'm gonna cheat. Actually, let me copy the whole lot, the whole file. Really cheat. Don't do this at home, kids. I'm a professional copy and paste person. So we'll have an owner. It'll be a single owner for now, but I think in the future that might be an array of objects where it will be not owner, it'll probably be called access, and then it have an array, and in each item it'll have maybe the username, and the permission if it's read or write. Hey, no problem, Dev Journey. You all supported me here, and I really appreciate it, and it gives me my motivation to work on Dashboard Hub, and I need to work on Dashboard Hub for two reasons. One, because I applied for an event in June, on the 13th of June, called Startup Grind in London. There's actually a US one. It's quite a big event, and I applied for Dashboard Hub and I got accepted. So I'm going there with Dashboard Hub team, and we're going. That's going to be our first conference where we're kind of exhibiting, having a stand there. So I'm going to be spending probably the next couple of weeks doing all the marketing material and getting all that together and just thinking what I need for the swag and so on. So it's really good that I focus on getting some of these features out ready for that event. It's only like 4 weeks away. It's going to go so quickly. And then we have another huge one, Web Summit in Lisbon in November, that we applied to, and we also got accepted. I think both conferences loved it, that the project was entirely open source. I think they thought it was really good because they asked me a lot of questions, and they were saying, is it really open source? And I was like, yes. I said, you can just go and have a look and download it and use it if you want. But it's like, the way I see it, because I want to do social deployment, if someone downloads it, they can use it as an internal project, but they won't get the social side so much, because if you imagine there's an open source version of Twitter, not from Twitter, but an unofficial one. But if you downloaded that and set that up on a server, you and your few friends and family members might follow you, but you're not going to get a huge following. So I don't see it as a threat, although I don't have a big community on Dashboard Hub yet. I don't see it as a threat for that. So yeah, so I'm keen on keeping everything open and transparent. Right. Okay. So what we're doing is I've copied this. So we're going to need an ID. We will need an owner, and again we will rename this in a future story. The project, it will have a title or a name. I prefer name, but as I've kept title in environment, I'm going to keep it as title. We'll probably have 3 to 32 again as a validator. Description, yeah, we can put a description in. I think we could display that. A link, there won't be a link because each environment will have a link to the environment. I don't see having a link into the project. You won't have releases, you won't have pings, you won't have any of this. Is it private or not? I'm going to omit that for now. Let's keep it really simple. Let's get something working end to end. and we will see how it goes. So tokens, tags. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep tags there. I'm going to rename it. Views. I don't think we need views really. We can do that in a future story. Let's keep that simple. So tags, I want to rename to the environments, because we'll have an array of environments. The default would be an empty array, and the validation is it's a string and of length no. So I don't think we need any validation, because in the service we will check that the environment exists. We won't add it if it doesn't. There's no actual validation in terms of just rudimentary validation. The throughput, this is like for DynamoDB, this is the kind of stuff that I don't like, is that, and we'll have create an update on it as well. So this is the model, and what we should do full TDD, right? So let me not get distracted. Make sure, keep tabs on me, everyone. Make sure I'm not following any bad practices. It's good to follow good practices. So I'm going to go to the test directory, and I'm going to go to under environment. Let's create a new directory. Let's call it projects. And then under projects, let's create a new feature file, and we'll call it a project list. I think that's, yeah, we'll have to inject some test data to make sure the list comes back, or we could do the create first. I know I always prefer doing the list because it's easier, but then I guess you need data to make the list come back with any results. But we'll always need data, so let's just do list. So if I go list.feature, move my keyboard over here. And if anyone has any questions, Pixel Pro.co, thanks for joining. And don't forget to, anyone who's new, don't forget to give me a follow if you haven't, so therefore you can get notified when I'm online. Okay, so again, I've cheated, copy and paste. I said kids don't do this at home. So we will call this environment create. No, this will be, how have I done it in other places actually? Let me just check. No, I didn't include environments in that, although it is part of environment, but well, that's an improvement we can do later. So let's call this, this is projects, and this is going to be project list. These are just tags so I can filter the tests. So this is for listing projects in order to view my projects. This part at the top doesn't actually have any effect on the test itself. It's the bit below under the scenario. As a logged in user, I want to, in order to list, list my project, I want to view. As a logged in, I want to view my projects. I'll reword that later on. I don't like that, but let's not worry about it yet. You know, we're techies. We want to get into the juicy stuff. Running seed data, so it resets the seed data on every file at the moment until I get each file generating the data that it needs. So this is scenario. It's actually, it should be cannot view projects if not logged in. So there's no given I'm logged in, and this would, the URL would be a get, and it would be to environments project. Environments project? No, it would just be under project, because it's kind of, I guess, environments at the top when you have releases and monitoring and stuff underneath it, but projects are also at the top, and underneath that you have environments. So I might just think of rejig my folder structure in terms of the test actually. So I might actually bring that out to be a sibling next to environments. So I've got that now. So it'll be on projects. It will list. I suppose it won't list my projects. We could have a public projects list. Actually, we could do that as well. So we won't do that yet. How have I done it for environments? I do have list private and list public. So list private is on with a list at the end, and list public is without it. So, and I can do it on if you're logged in or not logged in, but if you're, I can always combine it. Let's keep it consistent for now. So let's just go, let's do public ones. So projects list, and I'm not logged in, so So I just shouldn't get a 403 actually. I should probably get a 200. Oh, we said list was going to be private actually. What am I talking about? So that I would get a 403. So that we can rename this to say refactor rename list hyphen private. Okay, and so I expect a 403. And then if I do cannot view projects, should be an S. No one corrected me on that. That was me testing you actually. And then I want to have a given, so I want to say given I am logged in. I make a get request to projects list. I should get a 200. And I can't remember the syntax. Let me just steal it, or I can actually. And I should, I think it should have a field with string. Yeah, so I should have what do we call it? I think it was just ID field with we won't know what the UUID is. Actually, if we create test data, we would know what the UUID is. Let's create some test data. I do have a data directory, and I do have deployed environments and ping, so we'll just create a new one, and we will call it projects.json. And what we will do is it's going to be an array. And the first object, what did we say in the model? It was ID, owner, title, description, and environment. So ID, we'll just make up some new ones in a second. And then let's copy this a few times. Owner, we'll copy that from the test owner. And then what else have we got? Title, and we could just say title1. If I load data from an external source in my project with some API, how would you approach replicating this data? This is an open source version. If I load data from an open source, from external source in my project with some API, okay, that makes sense. How would you approach replicating this data? I'm not sure I understand the question. So you have your project and you're going to an API to get the data, and you're saying if it's open source, are you saying that the data you want to keep private, so you don't want to release that? Is the API that you're calling private, or can other people call that? What I would do, if you want people to be able to boot up the application locally for development or to use, but you don't want to give them access to the API, I would create a kind of maybe another project, or even in the same project but a sub project that just has some mock data, some dummy data that you can load in. So the API URL was configurable, so go to localhost 8080 or whatever it is and load that data. So the application would still work, it just wouldn't have the full features. As in on Git, so other people can work on it. The API will have secret key and so on. Okay, yeah, so I have the same thing. So when I started my API, I have some keys that could sit in the command, so I didn't share it on the screen. So I did last time, and someone rightfully pointed it out and I had to reset my keys. So what I do is when you boot up the application, it uses the data files down here on the left, and you can kind of get started that way. And but what are the keys that are secret? What are they? Are they giving access to the API so no one will have access to the API, or can they get their own keys? Because if they can get their own keys by registering on the site of the API, for example, whoever manages the API, then what you could do is just say, you know, this is where your API keys would go. So another example is if I go to DashboardHub and I go to the help section. Let me open it in a new tab so I don't go to that page. In the example of how to beacon your version, I've put in kind of XXX and XXX. So this would be your, actually this is a better example because I've posted the ID here because the ID is public, it doesn't really matter. I need to actually put that into the top one as well to make it look the same. But what I've done here is this is where your token would go, and that's a private key. I should probably call it a key rather than a token. But so So I'm saying to people, you'd have to put, I need to probably put in some more description actually thinking about it. It's great talking through this with you, all of you, because I need to log another issue. That's important. You know what, we can just make the change here. I actually copied and pasted the, oops, didn't do that, clear. Can you all see that? No, you can't because all the cameras and stuff are on top of it. This one you can see a bit better. So what I want to do is, if I just do a stash pop, you will see that on that help directory, so in web, I did actually change, you can't see it, let me make it a bit wider. You can see that I copied and pasted the ID over and the actual part here. So that bit I did do, but what I wanted to also do while I am thinking about it is just add a bit more information to that and say not core, main, content, help. Oh, that was actually the help data, wasn't it? Because the help data was in assets. Let's close this up. Assets and help, and it was CI usage. And I just want to say note replace. I can put this in tags. So just token with your private token, but treat these as passwords. Treat like passwords. Like passwords. Okay, so that is good. And if I go back to this, and I'm going to automatically refresh as well. I got some messages. Let me see. The API will have a secret key, and so it's a good option, I guess. Easiest for me. Okay. So which part was a good option? I think I said a couple of things, but so here we go. I've got my notes down here. I might have to put a bit more spacing or a bit more sort of the styling out. But yeah, allow people to put their own token in there, and in that way, you can still put this, the source code open and public. So what have we got? We have got title, description, environments. So environments is an array of objects. No, just an array of strings, because we will have some IDs in here. Oh, it needs to be double. There we go. So let's find out what environments we have as well. So if I close the UI for a moment and we go to the environments dummy data, this is the format I have. I have E1 is the style I've gone for, and then after that is kind of the subsection. But with projects, I might have to go P1, and then over here it will be an environment projects. Yeah, so okay, I kind of might have to change my name, numbering, ID, naming, and then this would be E1. So E1 would go into, is it owned by the same person? Let me see, owner, that's my test user. So actually, let me just copy that as well. So the owner is that one, and let's get a second one, because they couldn't add this one because it wouldn't be theirs, it's owned by somebody else. So with this one, they could own number 3 though. So let's put 2 in there. So, oops, botched that up. Right, so we've got 1 and 3 will belong to this environment, and let's just create another environment for fun. And X, that's a hard name to pronounce. XEHLE. I can't pronounce that. I'm really sorry. Have you got like a nickname I can call you or something? Missing an R in with your. Oh, I have a typo. See, this is why I love pair programming people. I really botched that up. Probably did. Let me just go straight to the code. I'm not even going to check it in the browser. I know I botched it up. We know we all botched it. Okay, let me go. I should have it in my history. Here we go. With you private token. Thank you very much. Good point. If you want, I'm happy to commit it without the R. and then you're welcome to submit me a PR to help your open source contribution if you want. But if you do that all the time, then it'll probably be a bit too easy and boring for you. The option to let people make their own token. Yeah, if you can, then let people do that. I think that's the simplest for you. Just drop the X at the start of my name. Okay, that's still quite hard. E-H-L-E. L, is it H silent? L? Where are you from? And I can try and guess how to pronounce it, I think. Okay, so let me create another one. I'm just creating a project 2. Gonna be the same. I'm gonna own it. I'm gonna call it a title 2, but it's gonna have nothing in it for now. Let's just do that. Okay, so when I run the tests from the test file, it will run in all the data, and then this should hopefully pass. So we should get a list. Well, it wouldn't pass actually because we haven't done the extra API for this. So we should see it fail, and then we'll slowly make it pass. So we've got UUID. What else did we have? Let me see. We have owner, so we can check the owner. I'm going to copy and paste that because I'm not going to type that out. And what else have we got? Title. I can type title 1. I'll probably spell it wrong, so I hope everyone's checking. Always funny when people try to pronounce it. To be honest, I don't know myself either. Nice, fair enough. It's just a name on paper, never thought about how to pronounce it. Yeah, I mean, my surname's really long, so I do understand. And I usually abbreviate it. So my full surname is Abu Jaude, with from Lebanon. My father's from Lebanon, with the accent aigu above the E at the end. But I just abbreviate it to Jaud, hence my Twitch name is Eddie Jaud. I've dropped the Abu, I've dropped the French kind of token thing, and my parents get really upset. I'm like, but it's just so much simpler. You know, booking flights, because of my passport, it's my full name. Booking flights, it doesn't take the hyphen. So I have to then book it spelled incorrectly, or it's too long with the Abu as well. So it is just the Jaud. And I have to call them up and say, your system is bleep, and it can't take my name. I have to call them up, and you're on hold for half an hour, and just thinking, oh. You know, the plane systems are so archaic. It's a freaking nightmare. What else have we got? Title, description we left empty, so I'm just going to write description 1. Let's just description 1. I'll copy that over there to description 2. Okay, so what we've got title and we've got description 2, and this should be description. Okay, so if we run this test, it's clearly going to fail. Because nothing exists. And in fact, we actually need a serverless config to add. So there are some tables here. I got a new follow. Awesome. I'm just going to be Fo. Fo, thanks for the follow. Really appreciate it. And what have we got? Create table. Okay, so we need to add it to the config. This is not stuff I do that often, so I'm going to go to the template, and I'm going to. You can't see any keys. Whew, that's okay. That's good. Last time I made that mistake, hence why I put this fix in. So we're going to add this pinged, and we're going to add. I don't know why there's a space in there. Okay, so we've got we're going to call this projects. And the table is going to be pipeline dashboard projects. TTL, it's not going to have a TTL actually. I don't want it to delete the data. Pinged and deployed deletes the data. I think this is about 7 days, and this is about 30 days. But for this one, we never want it to get deleted. So that's fine. So we've got that. And then if I go to here, I'm just going to duplicate this. I think it is just. It's been a while since I added a table, actually. Going to be create, query, get, all those nice, good stuff. But here it won't be pinged. Here we said it will be projects. I need to rename these. I want to do pings with an S to be consistent. Arabic is hard to pronounce. Yeah, it is. Even I struggle. you'd be like, did you open source your airport system? I'll fix it. Oh my god, don't get me started. I have said that before. I was trying to order, what was it? Book a table or order a food from a burger place, like a kind of fancy burger place. I can't think of what it's called now. Somewhere in London. I was in London at the time, and I was trying to book it online for all of us to go after work. And they had like a WordPress error page, and I couldn't connect to database or something. Or no, it was a typo in the PHP, so it couldn't compile PHP, like missing a bracket or something. So I tweeted them and said, hey, you've got, here's a screenshot, here's a picture of your website, it's down at the moment, trying to book for table for tonight. And I said, is it open source? I'll fix it for you. They replied going, love you to fix it, don't know what open source is, see you tonight. I was like, oh, okay. And they kind of weren't interested. And I went there, and obviously it's a chain, so they've kind of got like a few places. I went there and I said, I was the dude that tweeted you and found a bug in your site, and I'm having to fix it, can I get a free dinner? And they went, what's Twitter? What's open source? I was like, okay, forget it. As in on Git, I think I'm using the term open source a bit wrong. It wasn't Burger King, no, come on. I said a classy place. I don't eat burgers anymore, but it was like Five Guys or something, like one of those cool hip burger places. Burger King. I suppose it's a bit upper class than McDonald's. As in on Git, think I'm using the term open source a bit wrong. I think we all use it a bit wrong. I mean, I'm a big open source advocate, and I'm pretty sure I'm using it wrong a bit as well. Everyone treats it slightly differently. You know, some people it's about just having everything out there. Some people it's about putting it out there but not accepting contributions, as some of my clients have done before. Yeah, we'll open source it, but what we're going to do is we're going to delete all the history and just put the latest commit out there. So they literally all the codes out there with just one commit. And when people contribute, they just they're not interested in it, because then the next time they do a release like 3 months later, they just delete that kind of all that code in the repo, and here you go, here's the new code. And it's just like, well, that's not really how open source works. So, you know, everyone has their kind of view on it, and they think they're doing their bit because they're putting their code out there, but it's got no history. People can't see the project grow over time, can't get involved. I think that's really important. People want to go on that journey with the project, which is what I'm hoping this is helping with Dashboard Hub as well, with all of us. So it's not just about the tech and having a laugh with you all, but also hopefully you're joining the journey of Dashboard Hub, and you'll give me some criticism and find out mistakes that I'm doing, point out mistakes that I'm making, which has already happened probably twice today. Can I ask a coding question? Yes, as long as it's not about Burger King, that's fine. Yeah, go ahead, ask away. Yes, Burger King. King is classy. It is burgers for kings, right? That's probably why they came up with the name. They have a crown or something, don't they, I think? L, if I'm pronouncing that right, yeah, ask away. I'll try and answer, maybe someone else in the chat can answer, but we'll give it a go. I've noticed that in my overlay that the progress bar is going over the numbers. That's bugging me. Let me just quickly adjust that now. Is that happening real time for all of you? Okay, that really bugged me. Actually, looks a bit better now, like that. And you can see the numbers. So now I've got space for 3 digits now. I need to get into the 100. Okay, what was I doing before I distracted myself? Okay, so I've got that. I think there's something at the bottom I need to do with loading in the data. Let's duplicate this. This is just the YAML config for serverless, which gets converted into CloudFormation, and it's mostly just duplicated because I read in the name of it from the config, and I don't create any indexes apart from the ID. I'm not sure about the read-write capacity, but again, I'll just leave that for now. I think that is all. Oh yes, and actually the test data. So let's load that in. Projects. So table is projects, and JSON is projects. Let's give that a go. Let's see what happens. It might just blow up, but let's give it a go. So we can do, if I do make test, do I need, I do need, I might need my keys in for this. Let me just take a sneaky kind of take this over here somewhere for the moment. And let me try it before I make a mistake again. I want to spend the next hour after the stream resetting all my keys and stuff. Give me a second. And I should have blue petered this. Yes. So, how can I want you to see the test run. I don't want you to see my keys. And I solved this last time. I was running tests last time. But I do not remember how I solved it. I think I just set everything as an environment variable. And then I can just run the command without it. So how can I do that? Let me see. I can just put exports in front of everything, right? Let me see. If I just go through my history on my Linux and grep and export. What do I have? I do have all the exports. Okay, so let me just do that. So exclamation mark 4404. Unfortunately, I can't show you this because you would see the keys. All I've got is I've typed history on the command line and grepped it with export. And now instead of copying and pasting the line, you can just run type exclamation mark and the number of the line it is in the history, and it just runs that command. So that's what we're doing. So I can say exclamation mark 440 because you can't see what that is. I hope you can't see what that is. But what that is, it's on a different screen. Okay, so what else have we got? So that's 443. Okay, almost there. I will get this prepped up next time to be a bit better. What else have we got? I think that might be all that we need. One last check. My AWS profile, which you can see is not a problem. The auth0, yeah, that should work. Here we go. Okay. Now if I clear that terminal, I can then bring it back over. You know what? I just sound really stupid. I just closed the terminal and did the export in the terminal, so it was only in the scope of that terminal. I just closed it. That's like pretty stupid, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a tab in this one. I'm going to do it over here and I'll bring it back over. Okay, excuse my stupidity. But you know, I think after 15 years I probably make more mistakes. Right. You all chat between you. Well, you give me like 30 seconds to do this. Oh, L, again, if I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right, your message got deleted because there was a link in part of your question. So are you part of Discord? Our link is below, and you can post links in Discord, and I can see it from there. Or if it's a GitHub link, just put the username or the organization / the repo name, and then we can just type github.com and then copy and paste that on there if that helps. Right, back to the beginning. So 4959 4958. Okay, I think we're good. Right, let me clear that. I'm not going to close it because that was like really stupid. And if I just put this over here. Well, RIP, I wrote a link that was part of my question. Okay, I just reposted it without the link. It's not important to the question. Okay, total noob here. After 15 years, I still feel I'm a noob. Right, you have. I think I'm kind of getting distracted away from your question, but I will get back to it. You kind of have I need to bring up the 11 stages of a developer's life, like journey, and it's actually interesting because as you think you get to number 11, so this was done a long time ago, but as you think you get to number 11, I actually think you start going back the other way. So someone once told me that this, the developer's I guess journey is like a bell curve. So at the beginning you learn a little bit and you're like, oh, this is pretty cool. And you learn a little bit more and you go, oh, I'm pretty good. You learn a little bit more and you go, wow, I'm awesome. And you learn only a little bit more than that and you just, you know, you're going up to the sky and you're going, wow, I'm awesome. And that was me, like, 10 years ago. And then as you get to the top of the bell curve, you kind of go, well, I'm learning more, but I don't know as much as I need to know. And then it kind of starts dropping the other way. and you start going, I've learnt more, but I know less. And then you kind of right down at the bottom, the other side of the bell curve, and you're thinking, I've learned so much, but there's just so much more to learn. So I think it's, so don't worry, we're all noobs, even after 15 years. Right, I've got a function that bans any link. I want to exempt some links from that, like IMGUR, I don't know what that is, but I'm guessing that's a service or something, and YouTube and so on. Problem is, I have no idea how to make it so it exempts any YouTube site like youtube.com, .fr, .d, or whatever. I'm trying a regular expression, but I can't seem to get it to work. I did a free online course for JavaScript. That's my extent of my knowledge. It's fine, don't worry. JavaScript is a crazy ass language. I'm doing FullStack JavaScript at the moment, but yeah, it is a crazy language. You realize what you don't know. Yeah, exactly. I think you realize there's so much more to learn, and even as you learn, technology moves forward and forward. So, answer your question. What I would do is do a regex. Is I guess my first question I should always ask. I always ask at events and at people who are speaking, but I forget to ask here. Is your project open source? And can we have a look at it? For one, if not, okay, it's not the end of the world. I will be crying after the stream. And I see the time clicking. Actually, we need to go have a look at the Dev Journey's repo as well before the stream ends, because he has a question for us. We regex. So you could do YouTube dot, and then do you care if it's .com, or I suppose the downside of that is if someone created a subdomain YouTube dot, I don't know, eddie.com, then you would automatically match it. So you could do a regex that is YouTube dot, and then in the bracket you can list what you allow. .com, so the com, de, what else did you suggest? .fr and so on. So the dot would be outside because they all have dot, and then they could allow it in that way. And regexes are an absolute pain though. Every now and then you have a I can't say the word. Relevation. Oh my god, what's wrong with me today? You wouldn't think English is my first and only language. Don't tell anyone, okay? We'll keep the secret between us that I can't even read. I know what you mean. Relevation. Anyway, and progress a little. I can post a bit of code relevant to the question. It's just practice to see if I can code anything that works. Sure. I've joined Discord. I've joined Discord and posted a paste bin. Paste bin? We have GitHub gists for that. No, I'm joking. What about the repo on GitHub? You put it on there, we can see the bigger picture. But let's have a look. What have we got? Yeah, just paste it. We've got an open source channel. We've got a code channel. Maybe paste it in the code channel, and we're gonna have a look. I don't have a GitHub account. What? First thing you're gonna do is GitHub account. Okay, so today we'll let you off. I think it's the first time you've joined the stream. You've joined Twitch Coders, which is what I'm calling our community, and it's the first time you joined. So we'll let you off. But next time, I want to see a GitHub account. And if you need help setting it up, give us a shout on Discord. Just ask. We'll help you set it up. And yeah, as a developer, GitHub you will use it a lot for your repos, for your clients, for work, for hosting static websites for free, issue tracking, project board, wiki page, it's all there. Cool. Okay, so let me know when you've shared the code. But what we can do really quickly is if I go to, I think it's regex 101 or something. And you can type in here. So if you have like youtube.com, youtube.uk, I don't know, youtube.fr, and then we said YouTube. Now my regex is going to suck. We need Venzer on for this. He's really good at these things. youtube.eddie.com, because we wouldn't want that to work, for example. And just eddie.com, just to make sure that they don't match. What we'd want to do is do something like YouTube. I can't spell YouTube. So that matches. Okay, but it also matches the youtube.edi.com, which we don't want to. So what we do now, again, if I remember correctly, you could do something like this. Missing a closing bracket. Let me try. Com. Oh my god, so bad now. Any single. Oh, this is any single character. Right. I'm gonna say scrap that. It should be com like that. Morning, Eddie from the States. Auto hosting you now. Hey, thank you, Suxy. Thank you for the auto host and thanks for joining. Really good to have you here. Do you notice anything different about my setup? By the way, I loved your stream this morning. Well, morning of my time. I think it was your evening back in the States. Of the hardware, of setting up your building your PC, setting up. That was awesome. You did inspire me to do a hardware one tonight, where I was gonna have like setting up my camera, my light and my blue light behind me and reorganizing stuff. But I thought, yeah, I'm gonna break something. So I thought I better not. I'll just do it without the pressure of people watching. Less monitors, yeah. Cloud, I'm just gonna call you Cloud. We'll abbreviate your name. Cloud, thank you for joining. Hey, thanks for saying hey and dropping in. You should totally do it. You have a sick setup. I will. I'm using my tripod for the light in front of me, and my current tripod where I had the used before for the camera to look at the setup. But I have a new tripod arriving tomorrow. So from tomorrow or Saturday at least, I plan to have a big coding session on Saturday. I will have you'll be able to see kind of my command center or back cave, however you want to call it. I'm still kind of tweaking things, so do let me know if you break it. It'll be better content. No way! It's taken ages for all my kind of baby. I can't even touch all my screens. It's like quite big, but no, I'm not breaking anything. Right. Okay. Regex. So who's good at Regex? Let's see. What have I done wrong? We don't want to capture it. I want it to be optional, right? Not optional. I want it to be one of these. I can't even remember now. I really thought it was something like com, and then you could go pipe and go UK. Oh, I need the dot. That would be, because dot needs to be there. Right. Okay. But let me think. I want it to match exactly. I can't remember. Yeah, here we go. So you can go. I was right. I just kind of didn't put the dot in. FR. So if you look at that regex, it's now matching the first three, but it's not matching youtube.edi.com, which you don't want it to match. So hopefully L, again, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, hopefully that helps with a regex. So you can then just put pipes if you want an additional one. So you mentioned DE, so you can put DE in there, and if I put another DE there, you can see that matches, but the edi.com and the youtube.edi.com doesn't match. But I can paste that in the chat if that helps. Shame you can't do markdown in the chat. Right, leave this page. Yes, please. Okay, what were we doing? We got a bit distracted. We were doing some coding. Oh yes, I was going to run the test. That's what I was going to do. I was trying to hide all my keys. So let's see if this works. So if I go make test, it'll probably run all the tests, but that's fine. Hopefully it doesn't break. Hopefully it logs in correctly. You can see it's dropping the tables and breaking. Suxy, does that count as breaking something? It wasn't a hardware break, it was a software break, but I've got a YAML boo-boo. I think it's because I didn't rename this. This is the problem with copying and pasting. This is why I said not to do it at home projects. Okay, let's try this time around. We're dropping the tables again, and hopefully run the migrations, and it's busted again. A valid file to satisfy declarations. I'm pretty sure I called it projects.table. Let's see. Where is it? Here we go. Not that one. Not that one. Have I closed it? I think I have. So the error is cannot find dynamodb.projects.table in the config file.json. I know why, because I need to rebuild the API because this is a template file rather than an actual JSON file. So that's fine. Let me just run that. Okay, this is good. I should probably document some of this for people who want to contribute to the open source project as well. Okay, so that's up and running. That's pretty quick, I think. Let's see. Again, I've got it on the other screen purposely because I have private keys in there. And all the command is make space API, but it's the stuff pre-pended before that with my keys. And I could hide them in environment variables that are in the shell rather than pre-pended to the command. But I kind of like pre-pending it to the commands. Different commands can have different environment variables. And I busted it. So it says it cannot run because the table doesn't exist. So this is interesting. So as it's coming to like 7 o'clock, what I'm probably going to do is we were going to look at, someone wanted us to look at their project, although I think they've messaged me and they said they're not around anymore. So let me just see. Hey, sorry, I had to shoot off. However, if you can have a look at my repo and give me some feedback, honestly, appreciate that. Sorry about having to shoot off. Oh, it's okay, I'm back. Right, okay, so dev journey, let's have a look. And I'm gonna fix this config issue before I stream tomorrow night. And then if we get what we'll do is we'll have the tests failing, and then on Saturday we'll write the code to make the test pass. And then we've got time on Saturday, it's not a rush. Kind of got like, 2-hour slots Saturday morning and then Saturday afternoon and so on. So let's have a look at the code. So where are we going? We're going github.com, I think it was hackathon, and then hackathon.io. Let's have a look. So okay, everyone's got their eyes on your projects, So let's give that a go. I'll give it a star. That's my first contribution. So any particular area we're looking at, I don't like the this folder, by the way, being committed. I think that should be part of the deployment stage. Just my 2 cents. Yeah, you can ignore me. It's your project, but my suggestion, yeah. I even log it as an issue, you know what? And you can close the issue, but let's do this the open source way. I know we've got comms open here between Discord and Twitch and stuff, but if I wasn't chatting to you, I suppose, I would log an issue and you could decide to do it or you could decide to close it. If you do close it, my recommendation in the open source world would be to put a comment and just say, I prefer it this way, thank you. And just hit close, just to be polite rather than just close someone else's without a comment. So let's say dist directory not to be committed. There we go. I could put a bit of body in there actually. Let me add a bit more and say the generated files could be added on CI before deployment. Okay, if you haven't got CI at the moment, it will be manual, but that's also fine. Right, what else have we got? Issue it. Yes, I like your attitude. Issue it, exactly. I mean, people get upset when you if you issue something. I'm thinking, no. If you see anything that I'm doing on my projects or any of my projects, just raise an issue. If I don't like it, I would just say, no thank you, or I'm not interested, and close it. So just raise it and you get your green box for the day. That should have given me raising that issue should have given me another green box actually. So what else have we got? While I'm just checking my green box, dev journey, do you want to just write a message about what your project's about? You haven't got it in the readme. Oh, you have got it in readme, okay. Maybe a bit more about what your goal would be. Another green dot. Only got 6 today, that's pretty poor. And last week we had a good hackathon session on the game, 38. So we'll work on it. Is there dev journey? Is there anything particular you want us to look at, or just in general? Okay, there isn't too much, just a bit of a glance. Got git ignore, nice. I think the readme needs a bit more how to. Excuse me, let me create another issue. Unless anyone else wants to create the issue, let's get this as a team building exercise. So if someone, nominate yourself in the chat, and if you could raise an issue just to say, add quick start to readme. I think that's really important. I'm just gonna have a drink because I'm kind of yelling, getting a bit excited. It's open source to get too excited. Suxy, you're hosting me with 6 people, so thank you very much. I really appreciate it. That's really cool. You've got a really good following. Your following has climbed really, really quickly, so I'm really impressed. It's all that coding you're doing. So yeah, keep up the coding. So anyone going to nominate? I know there's a bit of delay in the chat. checked my regex on regex one. It seems that it does what it's supposed to. It looks like my code doesn't do what it's supposed to. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, good. Check your regex. It worked. Okay, so if it's a code issue. But again, is the project open source? Can we have a look at the code? Maybe not today because it's time for dinner almost. Well, for me anyway. But we can maybe have a look at that. So basically, the idea this is Dev Journey talking about the hackathon project. So basically, the idea is that near myself there isn't any hackathons or coding events. But I think the main problem is to do with this is because none are advertised. What am I reading out? You can read it yourself in the chat. What am I talking about? I suppose for the video it's pretty good. I'll carry on. I've started. So the aim of the project is to bring together everyone in one place for hackathons and events near you. So I'm gonna refresh this to see if anyone's created that issue. No one's created the README issue. Like seriously, no one nominating. I'll do it. I'll get the green box on my GitHub. That's cool. But I'm just trying to share the love. Open source is all about sharing, and I wanted to share an open source contribution for yourself. I'll give you a few more seconds. If someone wants it, do just write in the chat. I will raise that you will raise it, and I won't create it. But very soon I will create it if you don't want to. That's a good idea. I think it's good to practice, and you were talking about practicing TypeScript and Express and so on. So I think that's really good. You've got package.log file. You've got Gulp. I think I haven't used Gulp, but I think Angular used Webpack, and so I take that as it's kind of a good thing. But I'm sure Gulp does very similar. I don't know how much setup is involved. That looks pretty small and clean, to be honest. So that's pretty good. So you've got your source, you've got your interfaces. Okay, so you've got your router interface. Your post, your put, your patch, clear optional, and your get isn't optional. Okay, and you've got your roots, your base roots. Yes, I don't like inheritance. I really don't. So you're extending a base root. Yeah, the implements an interface, perfect. The extends I do not like, because I feel that the base root will become where everyone just dumps everything that needs to be shared, where there's better design patterns than inheritance. I prefer composition. Well, I suppose it depends on what you're doing. There is overlap between a lot of design patterns. I did chat about this in a stream, I think week before last. I talked a lot about the adapter pattern, but yeah, you might use an adapter, you might use decorators. So composition I prefer to inheritance, but again, it's just a personal preference. I've just seen it abused too many times before. What else have we got? Loads of universities do them, right? But I guess they only post it on their own uni website. Yeah, I think lots of companies do them as well, and they allow other people to come, but they all post it on their own website, and you're not going to go through to each company's kind of website. You probably won't stumble across it. It'll take time for Google to index it. I think it's good to have something there. There is meetup.com has a group called like hackathons, where anyone can post it, but not everyone does. And most people don't post it on other people's behalf. As in, if I was organizing a hackathon and I came across that, I would post it, but I wouldn't post one for you. Whereas I find on GitHub, and this can be more open, and people can just easily post stuff and just put a link to the main thing. Yeah, where did you post your pastebin link? Yeah, I couldn't see it either. So yeah, they do, but as you say, it's normally on their own website. Yeah, you want to kind of group it all together. So I think that's a good idea. What else have we got? We've got a void. Oh, I don't like this. I guess this is the Java in me from back in the day. You've got 3 different types there. And you've got 2 different types there. For me, a type doesn't change. If it's a number, it's a number. If it's a string, it's a string. Yeah, so I don't like that. I know you do a check here to pass it as an int. Yeah, I just wouldn't allow it to be passed in, to be honest. I know it doesn't do the checking at runtime as well. This is just more when you're coding. What else have we got? Otherwise, it looks good. I've got loads to learn in this area as well. Yeah, I've got these dot blocks, which I'm on the fence. I love it sometimes and I hate it sometimes. Yeah, I think because you've got the void here in the code, I don't think you need the void here. It's for languages that aren't strictly typed. You need to know what the parameters being passed in and what's being returned. But yeah, I'm not sure about the dot blocks, but I know you can build docs from it as well. So I don't know, I'm on the fence. Again, it's just a personal preference. You can ignore me completely. This is your project. It's just what comes to mind. I went into roots, didn't I? Yeah, that's when we got into the conversation about inheritance. But yeah, no, it looks good. And then this, I guess, is all generated stuff. Yeah, that's looking good. I would add more to the README, definitely. So has anyone volunteered to do that? I haven't posted it yet. Which channel should I post it to? Discord is quiet. To post it to any channel, probably. Let me just see. Rather than general. You put it in random. Yeah, that's fine as well. Okay, so we go look at the regex. And here we go. It's opening. Here we go. It's paste bin. That is a massive regex. Did you write that? Seriously? And I was getting stuck on like .com or .uk or dot whatever. That's quite a monster. Okay. Are you using WebSockets? Client on chat. Okay. And we kind of got a bit distracted, I suppose. But Dev Journey, does that kind of give you some help? I think the directory structure, I would get rid of dist. The generated ones you shouldn't commit because otherwise it would just change so often and it will bloat the project. So I would ditch that. And then source is looking good. Interfaces and roots, I wouldn't have a directory for interfaces because you're going to end up, you have all the interfaces for your models, for so many different things. I wouldn't just collect them all in one. I would put them where they belong. And I can't remember what the standard is. Just pick a standard, like maybe have, if I go into that and just get a naming convention, you've got, root.interface. So in that directory, so I would put it in the roots directory, but it would be, as you've got directory.root, you would have root.interface. So you can still see the interface quite clearly. And yeah, I don't like the base router. I hope that gives you some thought. No one has logged that issue, I don't think. Let's refresh the page. No, let me create it. So quick start, add quick start to README. Add quick start to README. Okay. An extra point for me on the GitHub green bar box thing will be now, if my internet loads, will be, I had 6 before, didn't I? So it'll be 7 now. What have we got? There we go, it's a random channel. Hell no, I got it from Stack Overflow. Okay, cool. Stack Overflow is a good place to get stuff. Yeah, it's a monster regex. Thanks for going through it. I know it's only the start. I wanted to get some valid input before I went any further. Yeah, always good to do. I love doing the same as well. Definitely taking the dot blocks comment on board. I'm on the fence too. Yeah, dot blocks one's a hard one. Yeah, take a stance on it and just keep it consistent. And then you can always change it later. It's not the end of the world to add it or remove it, whichever way you choose. Okay, so we'll have a look at your repo you're off next week, so maybe next week, see how you're getting on. And to look at this one, you've got this regex, and then you say you let regex equal this, and okay, is URL, okay, and you're doing the test. And then on the chat, where do you use that is URL? So message equals, that would need to be quoted if it's a string. Here should be the exception. Okay, maybe you probably just put that in just for our benefit. Return, else if that is true, client timeout is a URL, because in the else if, else not URL. But if message exception should be here. Right, okay, so if you get an exception, just return straight away. Otherwise, if it's a URL, do this, and then the catch is part of this. So you've got an empty function, and you do a catch. Let me just, I can't edit it, I was going to go for readability, let me edit it. I can't even copy it either. I can create a scratch area, can't I, somewhere? New file, you can see it somewhere. A scratch file, here we go. JavaScript. I'll just put this in here. Yeah, so this will be your exception. So let me just put that in there to remove the error. In that bracket. I'm guessing that's what you have, something to that effect. And then this then, let me move it to here. And then you've got the catch. You've got nothing in the then. Okay, so let me just omit that and we'll go straight to the catch. So the catch is on that client. And then this is from, where's this from? Oh, this is on the catch as well. Okay, catch, do something. Right, okay, so let's just move that over there, just easier to read. So you console log that it is a URL, right? Okay, I see that. And you're saying that this isn't satisfying it. So new regex works, you said, so that create new regex.test. I think you can also do something like this. You can do the string. So if you say you've got the URL, which is a string, you can say test, and then you could just go string regex. You can just do that. You don't need to make a regex object, and you can just return that. And I'll get rid of that. So you can actually do that as well, if that helps. Therefore, you can kind of make that a bit simpler. So you can kind of make it like that. But again, that the regex works by itself. You're just checking the function and what's wrong with this. No, it doesn't need that on the end. Okay. Yeah, well, hopefully that helps. I don't think that will change anything functionality-wise. It's just easier to read. So else if that is true, then fall into here. That should work. I would put probably, you can maybe split this up and put a console log in here, so you can see if it's validating correctly in the code. Because each language has a regex kind of quirkiness, as it were. So it might be, they're generally the same, but it might be something. So yeah. Well, everyone, I'm going to call it a day. It is gone 10 past 7. My wife's been home for half an hour and she's going to kick my ass for going over. But it was great working with you all. I really enjoyed today. I hope you liked the lighting, the lighting in front and the lighting behind. I hope that looks cool. Give me your feedback on Discord about what else I can improve. Again, thanks again for everyone who's contributed. It's been great getting involved in the chat, picking up the mistakes I've made. And what we'll do is we will continue with this tomorrow. Tomorrow again, 5:30 UK time, and then on Saturday we'll have a big session and make sure we get this all finished off. And yeah, I look forward to working with you all again tomorrow and Saturday. Have a great evening, everyone, and yeah, don't forget open source coding. Where's my holding page on M page? Where's it?